Welcome to 3Bs on a Mission. We're the podcast where the truth is raw, the boundaries are ironclad, and the opinions of doubters are used strictly as premium fuel.
Pretty
Just
much.
saying. Pretty much,
Mhm.
right? Okay.
All gassed up.
So we have a really amazing special guest with us today, Amanda Pieraldi. She is the Spiritual Gangster. I'm going to introduce her in a minute, but just sticking with kind of like the flow of what we do. We're going to do affirmations first, and then we'll introduce Amanda, and then we're going to go from there. So we're going to learn all about her, and we're so excited to have her with us today. Okay, so affirmations. G, do you want to do yours first?
Oh, sure. I'm missing my Wonder Twin, so
Yes, you are. Yes. You only
Here
get
we go.
2 Bs today, Amanda. Like, this is the discounted version. I know you've experienced the
is.
3 Bs, but today you only have 2. But
well,
we'll
you
make
might
it
be our
work.
third, you know.
Exactly. You're just filling
Anyways.
in today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead, G.
You're actually the third B. Welcome. Today, my affirmation is no more bleeding out just to keep the peace. I'll stay whole. Let them fucking deal.
Gosh, this is spicy. I love this.
Let's get it started.
I love it. Amanda, do you got an affirmation you want to share with us?
I do. Today, I am unstoppable and take no shit. I am divine.
Yes. See,
This, ladies
I
and
knew it.
gentlemen,
She is my people.
why
I don't know.
she is our people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Also calling
Yes,
herself Spiritual
wholeheartedly.
Gangster, which I absolutely love. Okay.
Mhm.
My affirmation is my boundaries are razor sharp, my standards are non-negotiable, and my vibe is strictly out of everyone's budget today.
Fuck yeah. Ain't shit for free over
If
here.
you know, you
Clock
know.
it.
I like
Okay.
that. I
Mhm.
like that.
Also, we gotta give a shout out to our girl Sean, who's not with us. But I specifically wore this shirt for Sean today. So Sean, if anybody who's following us knows, Sean's obsessed with dinosaurs. Okay, so I got my little pride dinosaur thing on today, and it says, remember who you are. And then it's at the bottom, it's a chicken. So it's like, if you know about dinosaurs, they say they come from the chickens. Anyways, that's a shout out to our girl Sean. So Sean, we love you. We miss you. I'm wearing the dinosaur for you, so I'm bringing in your energy. Okay. Also, G has a really funny shirt. I just want to call this out too before we go, because this
So
is a
mine
good message.
is don't judge me on my past choices in men. I was doing charity work.
Stop.
Oh,
Okay, you got jokes. I love this.
the
Okay.
Lord's work.
Anyways,
She was busy,
I was, girl. I was.
I was like
very
the whole,
busy.
She was like the whole
whole
Goodwill.
lifetime.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I was pretty
Okay.
much Mother Teresa
Pretty much
with
Yeah,
my
you were
charity work.
doing God's work.
Yeah.
I
There.
was.
Okay. All right. I love it. Okay. So, without further ado, we're going to introduce Amanda. So, Amanda is the creator and host of the Spiritual Gangster podcast. She's also a writer and author known for creating self-published works, such as she has a Spiritual Gangster daily affirmations, right? We got to get some of her affirmations. She's got
Yes.
amazing cards. So we actually, a few weeks ago, we joined Amanda on her podcast, the Spiritual Gangster podcast. She was brave enough to host the 3 of us. And so we're like, you need to come on over here, girl. Like, you're our people. Okay. Immediately, I think we all felt like a vibe.
100%.
Definitely.
It's amazing how I even discovered Amanda. Like, I stumbled across her interview with Darcy, who was on our podcast a couple of weeks ago. So anyways, it just one thing led to another. And so here she is with us. Amanda, we're so happy to have you.
I am
You definitely are one of our people.
ecstatic to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So we want, so let's kind of jump into this. One of the questions we always ask somebody to just kind of start off conversation is like, listen, none of us happened into this work, into this journey for ourselves, right? So what, and everybody has kind of an awakening story, right? So you come into your spiritual awakening. what was the catalyst that started yours, or how does your story begin that starts you down this pathway to spiritual gangster land?
Well, I think it kind of goes back to 2017. I had been
Okay.
married for 10 years. We were together for 12. We got married very young, but we had still,
Mm-hmm.
married for 10 years, together for 12, and it had
Yep.
come to an end. It had,
Yep.
we did it as long as we could, and it just wasn't working anymore. So that really shook me because I didn't see it coming.
Mm.
So when you don't see something coming like that and you identify, part of your identity is a wife. I'm not just a
Yeah.
mother, but I'm a wife. And I took
Yeah.
that job title very seriously. And so to lose that
Sure.
part of my identity, that really was a little bit of a spiral to be like, what am I going to do with my life now? Like, I thought that I was this man's wife for the rest of my life. And
Yeah.
now I'm just Amanda with 2 kids. And so it really was a bit of a little clusterfuck there for a bit. And I decided,
Mm-hmm.
what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I can't do the job I'm doing. I had been working as a developmental support worker for 6 years, loved
Mm.
that field. It was so
Mm-hmm.
rewarding, so fun, but it was evenings and weekends. And as a
Mm.
single mom, when are you going to spend time with your kids? On the evenings and weekends.
Exactly.
So
Never.
I decided to quit my job and I went back to school full time. And in Canada, because I'm in Canada, we
That's right.
we have different funds that you can tap into and get loans and stuff like that so that you can go to school. You got to pay it back, certain amounts of it, but it was enough that could supplement an income so that I
That's
could
incredible.
focus on school, do the schoolwork, and not have
Mm-hmm.
to worry about the bills with having kids. It was all covered.
That's incredible.
So I decided to go back to school and I chose, I was looking in this area. I was like, what kind of jobs are there? And executive office administration kind of struck me. And I was like, yeah, I like
Okay.
organizing shit. Like, this is right up my alley. So
Awesome.
I did that 2-year
Oh God.
program. And, so then I'm like, cool, I'm going to be an executive office administrator. Like, I'm going to be some big wig.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to be.
All
There you go.
right.
And
That's it.
so I start moving into that field. I'm finding, I got to start at the bottom. And so I was starting at the
Okay.
bottom. And so school ended in April. This would have been 2019. And it was at the end of the summer, early September. My parents had gone away on vacation and they went to Myrtle Beach. So driving from
Mm-hmm.
southwestern Ontario to Myrtle Beach, like that's a long ass
Yeah.
drive.
That's a haul. Yeah.
And they
Yep.
got there and
I
she
got it.
just wasn't being herself, which is very strange because
Oh
she loves
God.
Myrtle Beach. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
her abdomen was really swollen. And it kind of like really scared my dad, thinking, she might have like a bowel blockage or something doesn't, and we're not in our country. Like we should probably not
Yeah.
be here. So I think they
Yeah.
stayed a day or two and then they turned around and came back. And I remember telling her, like, you need to get your ass in the hospital as soon as you get back. Like, you can't be
Yeah.
joking around with this kind of stuff. Like, that's not
No.
normal, what's happening to you, and no energy and that kind of stuff. And she was 74 at the time, but she was a very active 74-year-old. And
Yep.
basically, long story short, from September to December 25th, that's how long she had. And
Oh my
Wow.
God.
it was metastatic breast cancer, and it just literally riddled her
Stop.
body. Yeah. So they
Oh
ended up
my
telling us
gosh.
in about October. So we had been telling them it's breast cancer. She had breast cancer 20 years before. It's likely this is breast cancer again. Like, and they were saying,
Oh my
no,
gosh.
it looks like it's liver cancer. And we're like, I fucking doubt it. It's probably breast
Yeah.
cancer come back.
Yeah.
And it
Yep.
was by about November, after they had turned us down. They weren't looking at what we were saying. And then it was kind of like, well, if we had got to this sooner, the outcome would have been different. And it was like, you
Oof.
son of a bitch, you killed my mom. Like, that's how
Oh
I
Yeah.
kind of
my
took it.
God.
So,
Yep.
yeah, so she was a fighter. She fought until the very end. She did chemo, and it just took the best of her. And she was the strongest woman that I know to this day. And to see
Oh my
her in
God.
so much pain that she was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
And I'm her baby. I'm
The
the
fight was
youngest of
over.
3 kids.
Okay.
I've got 2 older brothers. They're 8 years and 12 years older than me. So I
Wow.
was her baby. She wanted a girl before she turned 40,
Mm.
and she got it. Lucky lady. I
Yeah.
think very ballsy. I mean, what if I didn't?
Yeah, totally.
She was ballsy, but she won it and she
Awesome.
got me. So I'm her baby. And to have to see your mom dying in front of you, she used to be a little bit of a heavier set lady. And just to see her down to skin and bones was just
Yeah.
devastating. And I just remember, having the conversations, this is where things start to get like, most people don't ask their dying mom these questions, but I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
course you did.
so it'd be like just her and I'd be like, so mom, and like she's like dozing off. I'm like, mom, yeah, listen here. So just wondering, who are you most excited to see? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, when you cross over.
On the
Like
other
when you
side, Mom.
cross, who are you hyped
Yeah.
to see? Because like we are close. We are real close.
Yes.
And she
Yeah.
was like my
God.
grandmother, because her grandmother had helped raise her. And I was like, how stoked are you? So I'm trying to hype her up. Like,
Yes.
how stoked are you?
Yeah.
Like
Like
you
you're
are like
going.
shit, T minus, I don't know, 5 days at this point. Like you are close, my
Yeah.
friend. Like you are gonna
Yes.
see her.
Yes.
And I remember asking if she was scared, and she was so strong in her faith. And so
Mm.
she wasn't scared at all. She said, I'm just a little
Mhm.
sad, and I'm sad
Yeah.
because it's going to make you sad. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
at that point, when we saw her on Christmas Eve, I remember leaning over to her and like whispering, like, it's okay to go. Like, please don't
Yeah.
hang on any longer for me or for
Yeah.
anybody else here. Like, not for my kids, not
Yeah.
for me, like, or not for our dad. Like, you gotta go. Like, time's
Yeah.
a ticking, your body's deteriorating. Go be awesome on the other side, and I know you're gonna be with me. And there is no
Yep.
doubt in my mind that since that day, and she did, out of all the days of the year, this woman goes and dies on Christmas morning. Who talk about a
Of
baller
course.
move? Like, you
Yeah.
know, some people
She's
see
like,
it
you're
as
gonna
like,
remember me.
that's
Yeah.
exactly it. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Every
exactly it. That it
Christmas.
was like, there's no better day. Like we
And
celebrate
also, you
Christmas.
have to celebrate it. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
And that
always
Yeah,
going to
you're
be a
woman,
celebrating.
celebration. I'm going out with a consistent celebration.
yes, and she
I
Yeah.
love her
loved a
for
good
that.
party. So it was like, yeah, Christmas
Yes.
now, I just see it as a time to remember an incredible woman because she was freaking awesome. Best mom I could
That's
have ever
amazing.
asked for.
It's
And
amazing.
yeah, so when she passed away, it was like gutting, obviously. And,
Yeah.
kind of, I had actually, now that I think about it, it was a week before she died. I had asked to take some time off of work of this job that I had. And I was new. I was under 3 months, but I was very close to the 3-month threshold. And they wouldn't give me the time off. And instead,
Oh, so fuck that job.
but I was taking the time off. And then
Absolutely.
what they did was I ended up losing that job. And that's not even like
Oh.
the big job loss that I had, but when I think back, like that was super shitty. Like I said, I can't give you a date because I don't know when my mom's gonna die, but it's coming and it's coming quick.
Right.
And it literally was like the next week she was gone. So,
Oh my
and then
God.
I was out of a job and was like, well, shit, now what do I do? Like, this is awful. So then just kind of trucked along for a little bit. And, a couple months later, I found another great job. Kind of moving my way up in the administration field here, getting the
Yeah.
jobs. Things are,
Right.
things are
Yeah.
a little bit heavy, but it's like things are looking up. Okay. And then it was like in like 13 months later, so January of 21, my nan died, and she was like the next
My
most
gosh.
influential woman. Like I had these two
Okay, is
women.
that your mom's mother or your father's mother?
That's my dad's mom, and she lived behind me
Okay.
growing up. So like our backyards were
Oh.
connected, so I could run and see her whenever I wanted as a kid. So she was like another mom. And then
Oh my
but
gosh.
she was 98, so God bless her, she lived a good long life.
Right.
But it's like that's the two most influential women in my life in like 13 months. Like that's a big hit for somebody to try and digest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then as time kind of goes on a little bit, I end up getting the job. And the wild thing is, probably 6 months before I got this job that was in what we call it where I live, it's called Chemical Valley. So it's a lot of big industrial plants down there, like petrochemical
Wow.
plants. And I got a reading done. And so I had never met this woman that was doing a reading for me. She was on the other side of Canada. So I knew she didn't know me. We connected through WhatsApp. So I knew she didn't have anything on me, no shit on me.
Right.
And through that reading, she ended up saying like, your mom is here, your nan is here, said those names. And I'm like,
Oh my
that's fucking
gosh.
crazy. Like I mean, I know a lot of people have nans, but some people have
Yeah.
Right.
grandmas. And it's like, no, I had a nan. And the most wild thing is she's like, I'm sorry, I have to stop this reading because your mom is shoving resumes in my face. And I was looking for a
What?
job at that time. And this woman, it came out of her mouth. She says, your mom's saying Chemical Valley. And I'm thinking, how the fuck do you know what Chemical Valley is? Like, you should have no idea
Right.
what that is. That's where I
Yep.
live. You don't know what but this is. And I thought that's wild. And so in my head, I was like, good thinking, mom. Like nobody gets into Chemical Valley unless you know somebody. You got to know somebody. It's one of those
Exactly.
places. If you know somebody who knows somebody, you're going to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I kid you not, 6 months later, I get a call for an interview in Chemical Valley as an executive office administrator. And I'm just like, this was some crazy ass shit. I was like, mom, you really were like pulling some strings over here. Like, this is
Yes,
That's
you
wild.
did.
amazing.
And so it was like the dream fucking job. And it was like, yeah, like a place that you feel proud in this area to say that you worked for it. And it's like, yeah, I worked there, you
right.
know,
Yeah.
clearly moving on up. And
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
that. I'm
kind of
that.
a
I'm
big
that
deal.
Love
bitch
her.
now.
Yeah, kind of
I'm
a
that
big deal.
bitch.
And so I'm working this job, and I was a contractor though. So not a permanent employee. And as I'm working at this job, I think I was probably 4 or 5 months in, and my daughter got diagnosed with diabetes. And it was like,
Oh my
and the how she got
God.
diagnosed was that she got taken by ambulance from the high school to the hospital because she was going into ketoacidosis, which is if you don't get treated, you die.
Oh,
So,
oh
and
my
she's my only daughter.
God.
So you can imagine, we get her settled.
Oh
She has
my
to stay in the hospital for a bit. And we get, she figures out she's got to start taking insulin and all these pills and yada, yada. It's a fucking stress. It's a big stressor.
A little bit.
And I'm making little stupid mistakes at work. I'm making little stupid mistakes.
Man.
And it was one of these very small mistakes that if I was a regular employee, I wouldn't be fired. But because I was a contractor, I was fired on the spot. And it was like, are you fucking kidding me? I can't take this anymore. So I lose the job. Kids got diabetes. Mom's dead. And I'm like, what is this life? Like, this fucking sucks. I don't want to keep going on. And so
Yep.
with the job loss, I felt like I could either fall into a pit of despair, which I was to an extent. And I do think it's important to spend the time feeling the feels. So, yeah, it's totally normal to cry, but to stay there is the issue. You can't stay there. And often I'm the kind of person, I want to stay there. I want to ruminate and I want to, but
See, I'm the opposite. I can't stay there. Even if I wanted to stay there, I'm
that's
like,
the thing. I can't. In my head, I'm like, no, I don't want to get out of bed, but I'm going to get out of bed because I just fucking can't not do it.
Yep.
So
Right.
basically could fall into a pit of despair, or I could show my 2 kids that when life shits on you, you can do some pretty cool shit. So what I started doing was writing, and that was helping deal with some of the stuff. So I started writing, and I'm, doing a little bit here and a little bit there. And then I was kind of thought about it. I was like, you know what? I could probably write a book. Like I could probably do that. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it. I'm writing a book. And I'm just going to be all
Yeah, you should.
affirmations. Like all the stuff that I keep reading right now to help me get through. I'm going to write a book of these affirmations and I'm going to sell it. And people are going to buy it. And I'm just like declaring it. Like this is going to happen. And so I did. And then as soon as I did that, like my kids thought that was fucking cool. Like, oh my God, mom, you wrote a book. You did this. This got your name on it. Oh my God, the dedication is to us. And a couple months later, I was like, yeah, you know what? This is a very cool idea, having affirmations, but shit, I know a lot of people that don't know what to do with affirmations. Like they're great to read, but and what? Like you tell me and what?
Yes.
So I did a prompted daily journal. So it's the same affirmations from the first book, but with 3 guided questions to help you go a little bit deeper each day. And so that was the prompted daily journal. Published that, got that out there. So I was like, check 2 books. And by the end of that year, I was like, you know what? I've got 2 kids. I used to actually many, many moons ago, I was teaching in the Dominican Republic years ago. So teaching, kind of stands strong with me. And I decided to write a children's book about affirmations and how the kids can, tap into their power, because we don't talk about that enough with our children.
Yes.
So that book is called Dream Big Little Star. And so that came out in 2024 at the end. And yeah, so those 3 books came out and, I'm feeling good about it. Like, people are buying the books, people are finding out. There was a little expose in our local paper that they talked about, Petrolia's Spiritual Gangster, because I live in a town called Petrolia. And so that was very cool. And then I found out that it was syndicated across many different outlets. And it went, not just our area, several big cities around us, even as far as Toronto, which was very cool. And so then I was like, this is cool. And people over the years have always told me, Amanda, you've definitely got a voice for radio. And
Mm,
You
I've
do.
always thought, you know
you
what? I
do.
think I do. I
You
like
do.
talking in front of people. I like chatting. It's kind of
Mhm.
one of those things that I enjoy doing. In February of 2025, I was like, you know, fuck it, I'm doing it. Don't know how, but I'm gonna do it. I'm doing this podcast, guys. Yeah. Remember those books, the Spiritual Gangster books? Yeah, that's the podcast. Spiritual Gangster
That's
podcast right here.
that's
Amanda
it.
Pieraldi. This is it. We're gonna talk about stuff. We're gonna do guests. We're gonna have, you know, solo episodes. And then I had done a year and a half of solo episodes, and I was like, Amanda, you said you were gonna do guests, you filthy liar. If I notice that
Love
if I notice
this.
I haven't followed through, everybody else listening is like, when is the guest gonna start coming? And this
Yeah.
May is when I finally stepped out of my comfort zone, started getting guests, and now it has just skyrocketed. I got introduced to you lovely ladies, and now I'm just on this totally different trajectory with the podcast, and I am loving it. I am loving getting an opportunity to connect with people like you and so many others that are just from such a wide array of backgrounds. Very interesting, very out there, and yeah,
Yeah.
See, I would have had your
me.
back. I would have had your back on the whole, like, look, I do have guests. When it was just you, I'd be like, I bring multiple
I
personalities
bring
on here.
multiple personalities.
So
Exactly, exactly.
I got
Oh.
personality number 3, speaking of personality number 2 right now as we
Right
speak.
now.
So there's
as
your
we
guess.
speak.
Right here.
Screw
This is
it.
it. This is
So
it.
where did the phrase spiritual gangster like originate?
That
Like, where
actually
did you
came
come up
out
with that?
during COVID. I
Mhm.
again had a great office admin job. It was what I thought. It was a permanent one too. So I was like, got the label of
Mm.
permanent. I'm staying with these guys. This is
Perfect.
it. Then COVID hits. And in Canada, we had to homeschool our kids. So
Yes.
it was like, well,
Same.
I guess I'm going to be at home. So they were nice enough that they wrote me on like a temporary leave for the summer so I could still
Mhm.
get unemployment insurance and stuff like that and be okay. And
Mhm.
then it ended up crapping out where they were like, actually, your position is obsolete. I was like, are
No.
you kidding me?
Perfect.
This was
Mhm.
permanent. You
Yeah.
can't do this
Yep.
to me. You can't
So
do
I
this to
Yes.
me. So I
so I gotta
decided to start a business, and the business was called Be Balanced. And I sold
okay.
holistic health and wellness products that I would make from home and eclectic urban apparel, so different cool shirts. And one of the shirts was Spiritual Gangster, that I just thought it was such a badass name that I was like,
It
yeah,
is.
yeah, I'm a
I want
gangster
that
and I'm
shirt now.
spiritual. I'm
I
spiritual
will
AF.
wear it.
Like, yes,
We
Mhm.
will wear your shirts. We
yes,
I
definitely
will
will.
always wear your shirts.
I love
You
that.
send that over here. I will rep that daily because that is me. So that's why I'd love to know where it like came from
That's
because
right.
bitch, please try me
Yeah.
spiritually, physically, whatever you want. Just try me, spiritual gangster.
I was gonna ask you before you said you started your business that I was like, okay, Amanda, you're a smart chick. Like, how many jobs in the executive office space do you have to chase or go after before you're like, listen, fuck this. I'm done with this. I
Yep.
think I'm
Fuck this,
going in a
I'm out.
different direction.
Right. And when I
You
left,
know?
when I was told to leave the last job,
Yeah.
I think it really surprised some of the people. Just, you know, some of them would be slightly, ever so slightly nosy to be like, hey, how you doing? What you doing? And I was like, yeah, still unemployed. Thank you. And so it felt
Mind
really
my
good.
business.
It felt really
Same
good
thing
to
you
be
should
like,
be doing.
right. It felt really good to be like, oh,
Mhm.
I just wrote a book. I don't know if you know anything
Yeah.
about that, but I've been writing books and that's what I'm
Yeah.
doing. I'm doing book stuff
So
And I'm
and
amazing.
yeah.
it's kind of a big
Kind of a
deal.
big deal.
Yeah,
I'm
kind of a big
syndicated
deal.
across Canada. So
Exactly.
I don't know if you've
I
heard of
love
me,
it.
but
Yeah.
kind of a big deal.
And I
I
know
love
that it
that.
has blown some people's minds when they're like, you started a podcast? You are you
Yeah.
serious? I'm like, I'm dead
Mhm.
serious. You should probably go check it out.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, you
vibe,
definitely
and
should.
I would be
It is a
surprised
vibe.
if you didn't think it was a vibe because I know it
Mhm.
is. I wouldn't put
Yeah.
something out there
Yes.
if I didn't think it was. I think that it's a
Mhm.
good
Definitely.
message. I'm putting out good into the world. At the end of the day, that's what I want to do. I want to help
Yes.
people. And with the admin
Yeah.
jobs and, developmental support worker and even teacher in the past, it was the common theme. I want to help people. That's what I want to
Mhm.
do. And so now
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
get to do that from my kitchen table right now. I get to, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like I get to do that, but in a totally different way. And I get to connect
Yep.
with these
Yeah.
people and these interviews that I've been doing lately. Some of these people, their stories are just insane, and some are gut-wrenching, and some of them just need
Mhm.
to feel like they have a voice and that they're being heard, and there's somebody
Yes.
holding
Yes.
space for them. And I just like being
That's
able
it.
to hold space for people, let them feel
There it
heard,
is.
and I get to do that now, which is amazing.
There it
I
is.
love all of that.
Okay.
That's why
So
she's our
something
people.
that's really strange while you're talking about this.
Sure.
Okay, Amanda. So so you've met Sean, right?
Yeah.
So we call Sean and G the Wonder Twins, right? Because those two are like they're like two peas in a pod, okay? Like their energies, their synergies, the way they move in the world, their giftings are similar. Like they're just
Yeah.
their missions
Mhm.
are kind of similar, okay? And so
Mhm.
there's them. And so one of the last episodes we did, I was just joking. I was like, man, now it's like Wendy and the Wonder Twins. Like, great. Like, I'm outnumbered here because like you guys are a whole vibe. And like my vibe is different. Like
Yeah.
mine's
Mhm.
different, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay. But
Absolutely.
I was like, you guys need to manifest who's my Wonder Twin because I feel like somebody needs to come and balance me, you two out with me, right?
Mhm.
Because I exactly. And as you're sitting here, I'm like, my God, I think it's Amanda.
I think
I
it's me
Yeah.
think
too, Wendy.
I
I absolutely do.
because when you were just saying that, you're like, I just feel like I need to hold space for people in the world and
She was saying it. She was with
hearing
me
their
this weekend,
things.
and that's literally you're just repeating everything she was saying.
Literally.
Winning.
I'm just sitting here going like, it's like when the light bulb goes off and you're like,
Exactly.
shit, I think and I gotta tell you, like, it was so random the way that I found your interview on Darcy's channel. Okay. Like, I don't even, like, I was checking because, like, I came in and I did an interview with Darcy uh, as well. So Darcy ends up kind of being the
Yes.
mediator here, right? Which is
Yeah.
amazing, right? Because she's awesome too, what she's doing.
Absolutely.
And she's got hundreds,
Oh,
hundreds of
so many.
interviews, right? And so
Mhm.
one afternoon, I don't even know why, like I was back on her channel and I was like, oh, I just checking in on Darcy, like seeing what she's doing. My interview had already, dropped. So I had watched that and she had let me know and whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. And like yours had happened, I think at least a month or two before mine. So I was just like
Mhm.
scrolling through. She was doing these different series and I came across yours and I don't even know why I stopped, except for the term spiritual gangster. And I was like, okay, this has got to be somebody who's like in line with us because
Mhm.
to call
Gotta be.
themselves a spiritual gangster, it stopped
Mhm.
me. And I was like, okay, this has got to be cool. So then I start listening to your interview and I was like, what the fuck? This person's amazing.
Oh
So
my
I was like, okay, well, she doesn't know me or whatever, but that never stops me. So I'm just like, okay. So I
Mhm.
find you, I look you up, and I think I send you a message, and
You
I'm like,
did.
hey, you know, this might be out of left field, but like we do a podcast. I think you're awesome. Maybe you should come and be on. We'll come be with you. And you're like, I'll bring you guys on mine. And we're like, well, we want you to come on ours. I think it's like a whole setup. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I just
Okay,
do.
but you got to add to the setup. So we came to hers first, and
Yep.
I'm the skeptic. I'm the wall of
Yeah. The
Yeah.
nobody
twins.
gets in.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm the protector, and then Sean being in my energy, she's right there with me. She's
Yeah.
my backup
Yeah.
twin, and
Yeah.
for you to get through the gates of us immediately,
It was immediate.
I was like, it
Yeah.
was
It was immediate.
immediate. It was immediate. We were holding the door open, like,
Yep.
come on in.
Come on
Here
in,
she
be my
is.
guest.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is our people now. She is now our people.
Yes.
And literally, Sean, as soon as we're done, she was like, I'm calling. I'm calling on my way home because she can't be here today. She's
Yes.
states away. And she's like, I'm calling just so I can be in the vibe.
Aw, that's
I'm like,
Yeah.
we're not doing that.
well, now I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to come back. See, guys, I think she planned this. This was all a big
I
scheme to get me back
Yes.
again.
I
Yeah.
do.
Yes.
I do. I
Mhm.
do. I mean,
I'm
you're
here
probably
for
going to be
it.
sick of us,
I'm
but
here for it.
I do think, I don't
I'm
know
here
how
for
it's
it.
going to work, but I do think there is some synergy there because listen, spirit knows I need to be balanced out with these two. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like you handle those two as well, right? Like, but you're like more my vibe. Like you're kind of more aligned with like my
The
and it's not to
softer
say their
side,
giftings,
Yeah.
not the
yeah, like
fire.
it's not to say that their giftings aren't something because they're amazing, right? But like my giftings are more like leading the podcasts and doing all the prep work, and I'm a writer too, and and holding space for people because I think I have a healing teaching mission. And I'm just
Absolutely.
like, I'm sitting here listening to you going, what in the hell? I think this might
Yep.
be one of our people.
Yes.
Yes.
I think so too. I think so too.
Yes.
Certain people just have certain energy that they put out.
Yeah.
And I've always
Yep.
been that kind of person. I'm the kind of person that I could be sitting, oh my God, it's happened to me so many times. I could be in the most random of places. I was in a car wash once, and it was like a real dingy car wash. Like where I had to wait was real sketchy, minimal
Yep.
lighting. It seemed like a
Phew.
nightmare waiting to happen. And this old lady walks in, and I'm thinking, hey, this is going to be so fucking awkward because there's no light. Like the lighting is awful. It's dingy. And just out of nowhere, she just looks at me and she was like, my husband just died yesterday. Like out of nowhere, I was like, holy shit balls. Like,
Perfect.
and my response, and she was so upset and she goes, I just don't know what to do. She said, I left the hospital. I was so tired and I just went home and he died. And I'm so sad that I wasn't there. And I said, hold up. Did
Yeah,
you
right.
not for 1 second think that you filled that man's cup so full that he was ready? So
Yeah.
you did
Yeah.
him a favor. You filled his cup so he felt so safe and so loved that he could go. I said, and she
That's
thought you could
exactly
see the
right.
wheels in her head turning, that she was like wiping her tears and was like, I didn't think of it like that. I was like, no, you didn't, but you did. You did good. You filled his cup and he got to go in peace, and you were with him the whole time, just not when he passed. That's because you filled his cup and he knew you needed rest.
That's amazing.
And she was like, I never
Yes.
thought of it. And I'm like, shit like that happens to me all the time. All the time. That I'm like,
Preach.
Yeah.
I don't know
Because
why you're
same.
telling me, but I will receive
Same.
it and I'll listen to you.
Same.
Well, and that's
I have random people sent to me constantly. I
Mm.
could be in the grocery store. I could be at the car wash. Usually I get approached at, believe it or not, like at Lowe's or Home
Yeah.
Depot. Why? Because they think that I work there, number one. Like, and it's a joke, right? Oh, it's like, oh, you
Yep.
got jokes, Spirit. You send them
Mhm.
because, like, oh, I'm the lesbian, and they think that I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I do help them find what they
Facts.
need. I
You're
just
like,
happen to,
I'll take you over to aisle 50.
work there.
Let's go.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You're going to need a piece of PVC pipe and this clamp and where, regardless, I do know it and I do fit the stereotype. That's fine. But but there'll be people like that. They'll just start like that, like, oh, I'm sorry. Can you help me with this or that? And I'm like, sure. Cause I'm like friendly or helpful or whatever. And then I go, and then all of a sudden they start doing the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like, I just lost my son in a car accident, whatever, a year. And I'm like,
It's like
oh
some of
my
the deepest
God.
shit and you're in the cereal
I'm
aisle. Like,
like,
what?
how are you
Yeah.
telling me this? So, like, and in past, I would just feel a lot of empathy, but now I get it. Like, now I get it. So now, before I even walk into a store, I'm like, okay, Spirit, I'm here. So whoever is here, I think I'm just going in there to get XYZ. No, you're not.
No.
You're being sent in there. It's like a constant moving mission, right? And it's like,
Absolutely.
okay, whoever you're sending, just prepare me for and work through me, like whatever I need to say, you say to them, whatever. A lot of times I just end up hugging people. Like I just give them a hug because I don't know, I
You're
might
like,
not be able to
"Yeah,
have
get over
anything to
here."
say, but they,
And that's
and
why
it's,
she has me as the protector, because I'm like, now you just hug this thing and we have to remove it. And I have
No.
to.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not. I'm discerning. It's not like I'm
She
out
lets
there
in
like, doing
little,
all the
little
things.
discerning.
Yeah.
A
bit.
little, but
Little
it's
bit.
it just happens. But I gotta share something, and this is gonna sound wild, okay? But this is where we are, Amanda. So
Bring it in.
Mhm.
you connected with us. It's a thing,
Bring it in.
okay?
Group hug.
So I had a vision. It was probably almost a year ago when I was first awakening,
Mhm.
and all the voices started, and all the visions started.
I love
And
that you
it,
say the voices. This is
yeah,
amazing.
the
Go ahead.
voices, because they do. They like it
Mhm.
comes in. It's not in my head. It's like in here. I can't explain
Mhm.
it. It's just, if you know, you know. Like you
Mhm.
get. I'm a channeler, so I hear things, right?
Yeah.
So it's just
Mhm.
that's just the way it happens. So one night I'm having this whole download, okay, and it's the most emotional thing I've ever had at that point. I don't know up from down because I'm broken all the time. I am at the bottom. I am trying to take my way out. I'm going through my whole awakening. And so everything's emotional. But I had been okay this day. But then all of a sudden, I sat down, and it's in those quiet moments sometimes. I'm sitting there. All of a sudden, here comes the feeling. And I'm like, oh, shoot, here it comes. Like something's coming because like I can feel it. And I start seeing this vision. And I see this vision, and all I can tell you, and like I've told these guys before, is like they show me all of a sudden I'm on a stage. Okay. I'm looking around, and there are like, I mean, seas of people, like thousands of people. And I'm like, I'm looking fly as hell. Okay. I just got to tell you, like, I was
Yeah,
looking good.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. I was like power suited up.
I love that that's
I was,
relevant to any part of the story,
It's
but
so
It is.
relevant. Thank you.
It
Keep
is.
going.
Thank you very much. Okay. I was looking snatched, and I was looking fly. Okay. I don't even,
okay.
this was
Perfect.
important. I'm glad Spirit
I
showed
love
me. I was like,
this.
wow, I look good.
Mhm.
So anyways, I don't know. And then there was it's a whole vibe. It's like TED Talk meets Lady Gaga concert, if you can imagine this. It's like a whole vibe. All right. And I was like, what the hell is this? This is cool. Like, I don't know what it is. And
Mhm.
like I leave, and there is a whole team of people. It's not just me. There were other people that were doing speakings and all this other stuff. Like, but I just happened to go off, and like I'm telling you, it's like a whole group. And then they start showing me. Start showing me the number 13,
Hmm.
and I was like, okay, 13. What the hell is this? Like, I don't know. And they're like, there will be 13 spiritual badass women that are going to be brought to you, and they are each going to have similar like their own spiritual walk and practice and giftings, and you are going to start to be drawn to these 13 people. And I can't make this up. G will tell you, like, this is all true,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell do I know? I'm like, okay, 13 women. And they showed me very specifically, you are building something. And this something is going to be like this whole new spiritual awakening network. Because it's like when people, like, where the hell do you go? When this shit starts happening to you, or you're
Right.
going through like the breakdown of your life, like you're talking about, what happens is most people go back into the religious communities and the religious, because that's the only place they think they can find help, spiritual guidance, God, universe, spirit, whatever the hell you connect with. There isn't this. This becomes a new thing. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm watching it happen. And I was like, oh my God. So I ended up calling G at the time, and I was like, yo, I don't know what this is, but I've just been shown like there is something big. Okay. Like we got to do this podcast.
Mhm.
But then as we're doing it, we're going to be connected with people. Okay. And like these women, we're going to know when they come in.
And me, the
they're
one
gonna-
who
they're gonna
doesn't
hit.
people. She's telling me this.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
like,
and she's like,
dude,
just like
perfect.
when we were told to start the podcast, she's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
I was like, you're doing it. You're
You're
going to do
doing
it. You're
And
going to
then
do
she's
it.
like,
I'm just,
okay, we're going to do the podcast. All right. I say yes to that. Then it's 13 people. And then it's seas of people in
it is. It's
stadiums.
seas of
And I'm
people.
like,
Yeah.
It is.
I
It's huge.
didn't sign up
It's
for
freaking
any
huge.
of, I'm just going to sit over here.
I'm telling you, it's huge. I don't know how long it takes. I don't know how we get there. I don't even need to care about that, right? But
Nope.
the first steps was like, okay, one, you got to believe this. Two, you got to hold it. Three, you got to start this podcast. And as you're
Mhm.
doing this becomes the catalyst for how you are going to be brought to and find and connect. Okay. So this is like a year ago, okay, that I saw this, but I've told them right along, like, listen, this is happening. Like everybody they bring in.
It
At
was
the top
actually
of
a
the
year to the day.
A
And
year
it's
to the day.
4:44. Yeah,
There you go. A year to the day that this is
it
happening.
is.
So how weird is it
When
that
you
we're
called
talking to you
me.
now?
Huh.
And so this is all symbolic. I'm telling you right now. And so then at the top of the year, G and I were doing this kind of reading together, and they started showing us 5 different people. They were like, in this year, you're going to have 5 people that will join you in some way, shape, or form. That you will join forces. The first 5 are coming. I was like, okay, first 5, sure, okay. All of a sudden, through all these different weird series of events, I think we're at number 3. Okay.
Yes.
Because Sean was brought in out of nowhere. Okay. We
Kathy.
have a spiritual mentor that was told that one of these people is going to be like somebody who is like a mentor for you guys, like who's very advanced in their spirituality, that starts to be your support for your team, like that can see, that provides guidance, whatever.
Mhm.
that person is now connected to us. And, you know,
hold on that
just
one. Hold on that one. So remember, like, okay, so she's what I refer to as our spiritual mom. Okay. She is
yes, she's like the
absolutely my
spiritual
spiritual mom. And she doesn't know anything about Wendy's visions, about how this is progressing, anything like
Nope.
that. And she's just talking to me. And then, like, all of a sudden, she's just like, because she gives me like the motherly spiritual advice, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
all those things. And I love her to death. But all of a sudden she's like, no, you need to start peopling because you can't, there's something coming. So you need to start actually interacting with people. And I was like,
Yep.
I don't like that.
I don't like
wanna-
how that
I
sounds.
don't want to,
No,
I don't
thank
want to
you.
really
No,
do
thank you.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then she ends up confirming and saying exactly what Wendy said a year ago. And
Yes.
nobody told her.
Yes.
And
so
she's like,
yesterday, yeah. So
Mhm.
yesterday I sat with her and she's looking at some cards that she pulled and she's looking down and she's looking at me and she's looking down and she's looking at me. She's like, I don't know how you're going to feel about this. And I was like, okay. You know, she's like, you are meant to be a motivational speaker. And I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, I've seen it. That's all I said is I was like, I've
Mhm.
seen it. And she's like, no, not like this is like lots of people. And I
Yeah.
was like, uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And she goes, but this is like, I go, like a team of people who are also this, that. And she's like, that's exactly right. It's like, okay, I saw this a year ago and this is all starting to come together. I don't even know how, but it is. It's coming. And so as we're sitting here, the reason I'm going off on this tangent, okay, for anybody that's watching us and listening to us, is because I think you're one of those people. Like, I
You
It
think
are.
happens.
you are one of
It
those
happens.
people.
She's just
I
like,
don't know.
it
I
happens.
don't know how it works,
I am
Amanda, but I'm
that
just
bitch.
I'm
Yes.
just laying this now
I'm
and
part
just
of it.
saying,
Yes.
whether you want to be claimed or not, I think you're being claimed in this
Well, you've already been claimed.
Yeah.
nonsense.
Like I
that
told
we're
you.
building.
Exactly.
The Wonder
I'm,
Twins have already decided you're in, whether you want to be in or not. It's like
I'm
that
in.
movie.
Guys, just admit
I'm in,
it.
Bob. I'm in. I
Okay?
just thought,
She's in.
right. I thought you were going to say, I mean, you were in. So it was
I
going to be a great
am. I am
thing.
so in. I'm balls to the walls. Like, I'm in this.
Yes.
I know you are. And so
Mhm.
this is going to be our journey now, Amanda. Like, I don't know how this all works, but you got to get ready. Like, you got to have passport ready.
Oh, I
You got to
do,
have all this
babe.
stuff
Babe, I got
because,
it. Got it.
okay,
Nailed it.
God, I love her
because I
already.
think
Full tank of
I'm not the
unleaded.
only one.
Let's do this.
Yeah. So, like,
Yeah.
okay, just listening
We'll
to
pick
like
you
how
up.
you've come up and you've come up through and you're writing and you're doing this and now you're doing the podcast and you're doing all this stuff. Yes, you're going to do those things. We're doing this thing or whatever. There's a convergence that's happening here because I'm not, listen, yes, I know that I'm meant to be a motivational speaker in some way, shape, or form on maybe one or two topics like this. But then there's like, I think you're one of the other ones. Like,
I think so
they're
too. It's
like,
so funny.
you're going to
'Cause
be a speaker.
I literally, well, I did a lot of public speaking growing up. So that was actually a thing that I really
There
did
you-
enjoy.
There you
And I
go.
would cover topics as a child that were just like not your typical school speeches to do. Like in sixth grade, I think I did the Holocaust. And then
Oh, perfect.
I think in fifth grade, I did Rosa Parks. Like, I mean, I was
Oh,
doing
God,
things that
okay.
just was out of the ordinary. I just
Yeah.
wanted to be in front of people and get to talk. But the funny thing is that you're talking about being a motivational speaker. This is so funny because I literally just showed my daughter the other day. I was like, check out this chick. It was a lady that I had on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and it blew my mind that she just did a TED Talk. And I was like, check this out. I was like to my daughter Micah, I was like, that's gonna be me. I said that to her. I was like, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna do this. Like I'm gonna
There
have a
it
TED
is.
Talk someday. Like I'm gonna do it. Like I could see. And then now
I
you
love
mention
that
it, and it's
people.
like it's us. It's
This
us.
is happening
I-
for you. This is happening. Okay.
I love
this
that
is
people
happening.
still think that we're absolutely batshit, but everything that we've said, like
It's
Lines
happening.
up.
it's happening. It's
It's
happening,
happening.
and
And
the
that's
right
why
people, you fall in
Yep.
our lap, like you're
You
gift
can't
wrapped,
make
and
this
you're like,
shit up. You can't
and
make this shit up.
and here,
No.
right?
No.
My
No.
God, I
And
fucking love her. Damn.
so it's like, okay, so TED Talks are like the big thing, right?
Yeah.
They ain't seen nothing yet. This shit's gonna hit. Okay. It's gonna be huge. because it's a whole different thing. It's a whole thing. Like, because you're going to be bringing in people, like, people come because they need to feel whole again. They need to find themselves. They need to feel inspiration. They need to have people hold space. And I'm telling you, there's everything. There's like healers, there's like readers, there's
Ooh.
Reiki people, there's astrologers. Like, I don't know how, but we create this giant ass thing that brings people the stuff that they never even knew they needed. It's nuts. It's nuts.
And
amazing.
you have nothing to worry about because you have the Wonder Twins, and we are literally walking security. So
Exactly.
it's your
Isn't it
protection,
like
and you can
5-foot security?
say,
Were you
Yes,
guys like
it
5
is.
feet? I'm like, forget
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
no,
You can just
stop
rest
it.
your arm on them, okay?
Okay.
Like on their heads.
You can.
Okay.
We are fierce little people. Okay,
I'm
well,
sure
she's
you
a
are.
little people.
Yeah.
I'm a bigger people.
Yeah.
I'm 5'7", so
Oh, you adorable little thing. You
That's
adorable little
cute.
thing.
You're still. I love
I'm
that you've met your
6'3". I get
match.
to say that. I'm
I
allowed.
love
Exactly.
it.
I love
I
that you've
love
met your
her.
match. That she outranks you in size, because I'm usually the little one. So it's like, ha 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 ha.
I
Now
love
you're
it.
gonna know how it feels to be small.
You're
Anyways,
feistier
yeah,
though.
I'm
I'm bigger, but you're feisty, so I need that. I
yeah,
need
that's
that.
true.
You're my
Yeah.
backup. I
Or
got you.
when you find your
Absolutely.
people, it's a whole energy,
Oh,
right?
100%.
And
It
so
is. Oh my God,
my
yeah.
takeaway from this whole vision, and the reason that I'm sharing all of this is, one, to kind of like set a line in the sand to say, yo, like, this stuff we're telling you is happening. And so people will be like, oh shit, that actually did happen. They talked about that. Well, back then when they met Amanda and she came in, and I'm telling you, it's a thing.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I have no doubt people are going to look back on this video and be like, this was when they talked about it before it
Yeah,
happened.
look at this.
See?
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be a thing. And
Manifesting.
it's
Let's
funny.
do it.
Yes, it's manifesting.
Always.
And I mean, and you just happen to say it too. Like, so it's like,
Yeah.
it's like they give you an inner knowing already. It's like, yeah, I'm going to do TED Talk. No, you're going to be the TED Talk.
And it's
I'm
always
telling
a
you.
couple days before, like, it comes to your reality. Like, before Wendy said this to you, you already had that interaction with your daughter a couple days ago. This
Yeah.
is your confirmation, and
Yeah.
then your confirmation to her confirmation, and then
Yeah,
here we are.
absolutely. And how you guys
Yeah.
said that I kind of fell in your lap there, so to speak. I felt the same way when I was like, how did this chick get in my email? Like, this is wild. I was like, I didn't search
Slipped into
for
your
her. She
DMs.
found me. I'm like,
She,
Yeah.
right?
next
She was slipping in your DMs. Hey, girl.
Hey,
past
I
the
have to
DM. She
do
went
that.
straight to the email.
I did. I didn't even DM her. I just slipped in.
Straight to it. She didn't waste any time.
I don't waste any time. I don't got time to waste, man. I
Nobody
just gotta
does.
get in there, right?
No.
Oh,
So-
good God.
What other things? And now
I'm
it's
so
like we went
lost
off
at
on a
this
whole thing. It's like, oh my
Right.
God.
Right.
Anything else that we want to know from you,
Yeah.
Oh.
All
or
the
anything else that you
things.
want to tell us? I guess one of the questions that I'll ask you is like, as spiritual people, it's tough to stay grounded. It's like you get all this stuff and you have all these things flowing through and whatever. It's like, and you do all, obviously you've done a lot of work in affirmations.
Yeah.
I guess what's the alignment there? Like how do people start to apply those kind of affirmations to their lives? How do they be grounded? How do I claim that? Why is that important? I guess that's the question that I want to know from you.
I think it all has to do. It's deep rooted. You have to want it. You can't. Something can sound cool as shit, but if you really don't care about it, you're not going to do it. I could make it sound as fancy as you want. If you're not interested in personal growth, you're highly unlikely to grow. And I've just always known from a very young age that I was meant to do something great. And I know that sounds like such a bold statement, and it sounds very
It's not.
ballsy, but I always
not.
knew that it was something. And for a while, I thought it was teaching because I come from a family of teachers. And I thought, this is my thing. And then it was like, no, keep going, keep working. And even now, I think that some of my
God.
family is just blown away that they're like, you're doing this every week. You're really doing it. And it's like,
Yeah.
because I walk the walk and talk the talk, like to stay
Yeah.
grounded. Like I have to be very mindful of it. I have to every day. I'm very mindful of how I'm projecting myself, how I present myself. I start every day like I'm a creature of habit. I like to start my day the same way every day, and it's starting with gratitude.
I got
uh,
you.
I
Yep, me too.
I used to write it, and now I've kind of gotten a little lazy from it, but it's like I'm just being aware. And I like to sit
That's
out on
right.
my deck every morning, have my coffee, go walk around barefoot in my backyard, and just say
Love
thank
it.
you. I hear the birds
Yeah.
chirping. I'm like, some of them could be beautiful, some of them could be annoying, but I'm like, the fact that I get to hear this, amazing. So
Yes.
cool. Thank you. And my
Yes.
biggest thing is that I think that your thoughts become your reality. And I'm very big
Yes.
on every day, even today, and it's now come to be true now that we've had our conversation. I start the day with saying, show me how good it can get and show me how
Yeah.
fast it can get good.
Oh, I like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, so
That's
I
good.
just
I
picked
like
that
that.
one up. I've been saying the show me how good it can get for a very long time. But
My
recently I
God.
heard the and show me how fast it can get good. And I
Oh
love
my
that.
God. I love
And I
this.
will tell you, there have been so many days that started out like a dumpster fire. And I'm like, there's
Mhm.
got to be something else. Like there's a freaking reason why it was shit. And
Yeah.
Yep.
how on earth are you going to turn this shit around by the end of the day? Because I said, show me how good it can get. And it
Yeah.
is
Right.
amazing. You could
Yep.
be having the most shit day, and you say that to
Mhm.
yourself a few times in your
Yeah.
spare time. I
Yep.
don't know, waiting for an elevator, say it to yourself again, grabbing your coffee, say it in your head again. And it's mind blowing the little idiosyncrasies that will happen in your day. That's like,
I love this.
I set that shit up. I did that. That was intentional. That
I
was
love
I
very
that.
did
much
that shit.
intentional. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
my big thing that, if you want to,
Uh,
if people want to tap into that side, I love helping people, I like guiding people to, this is what I do and this works for me, but it might not work for you. And you don't
Mhm.
have to write it down. If you don't want to write down your affirmations, I get it. But think that
yeah.
shit in your head. You
That's
gotta,
it. It still
Mhm.
works.
yeah, you gotta do it in your own way. Find your own little niche. And we don't all do meditation the same. We don't all do our spirituality the same. But at the end of the
Nope.
day, we're looking to make a change. We're looking to make a positive change. And we're looking to be a light in other people's lives. And I think
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's what I like putting out. If I know that I've done that in the day, then I'm content. And it could be the
Love this.
smallest of things. It could be going to the post office, seeing somebody walking and being like, I'm gonna wait until they get up here and I'm gonna hold that door for them. Just out of and it's so funny because
Yes.
it's not to be a nice person.
You make it sound all mischievous.
It's
I'm gonna
not to be a
wait.
Wait and
nice person.
hold
I
that
mean, it
door.
is to be a nice person, but the
Yeah.
satisfaction I get from helping somebody, oh, it's so
Yeah.
selfish. I do that for me. It's 100% for me.
I fucking love
Holding the
her.
door,
I love
stopping
this.
my car to let somebody cross the street. I did it for me because I like seeing the look in your
Yes.
face when I see you glowing
Yeah,
because I
that you were
helped you.
kind.
Yeah, that shit's
Yeah. Yeah, I
selfish.
get it.
It's me. I want that
My
all for me.
God. I know you're laughing because you're like, oh my God, could this be like a doublemint situation here? Doublemint twin thing? Because
We're
that's the
both
same
the
way I
blonde.
am, Amanda.
Okay?
We are both the blondes. Yeah, there's something in that. I'm just saying, I'm just
Mhm.
the same way. It's like I'm listening to myself talk.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I'm the same way. And these
Mhm.
two guys got jokes all the time. It's like, well, you're the light and we're loving the light and whatever. It's like, yeah, because some of us have to be that, right? That's what our path
And we're the
is. Like,
warriors
we're
in
over here
protection. So,
and then you're just,
but
yeah, you're just
but
holding it
that
down for us.
amplifies your love and light.
Yeah, absolutely.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, because love and light
and
people need to have protectors.
Yeah. I'll take you guys as
Yeah,
backup security any day.
I would too.
Hands
stop
I
down.
it
would
with the
too. They're
backup
crazy enough.
Hands
security.
Like, I
down.
would get it. Yeah, it's amazing. Well, yeah. So this has been so enlightening for us.
I love it.
Hopefully it is for you. Hopefully it is for
100%.
our followers too that are like, you know what? We're on this crazy ass ride with these bitches. Like, we don't know. They're
Mhm.
always talking about weird shit. Like, we're in.
Yep.
We're in. We're just listening. We don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yep.
We don't either. But we listen. Well, at least we're honest about it.
And we
We're
make
like,
that
look,
very
Fun
clear.
ride. Yeah, it's the journey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, why not? Like, at least we've got good energy. We're giving you good tips and messages. We're bringing you really good people and
Yes.
stories like about
Right.
overcoming stuff.
That's what
Even
I'm
if
saying.
And
it's
you
We're
just
get to
bringing
see when we
positivity.
fall. Yeah, when we face plant, like we don't hide that. We're like,
No.
yeah, we just face planted.
Yeah,
we
That
did you
do.
see
shit
that
was
when I wiped
raw.
out? Yeah.
Yeah.
I draw attention
Yeah.
to it. You see
Well,
me down. I'm going to get back
That
up.
was
Keep going.
Well, listen,
man down.
well, you're 6'3". I'm sure if you face plant, people are gonna notice.
They
They're
do.
gonna
They
notice.
do.
Well,
It's happened before.
Yes,
but
I'm
that's when you
sure.
just stand up and be like, you hit like a bitch, life, you hit like a bitch. Round 2, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Okay. This is nuts.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Amanda, it is always a pleasure to have you with us.
I
yes.
absolutely
And
love it. It doesn't feel like work. It's just a nice chat.
doesn't.
It's really,
It
at the end of the
doesn't.
day, this is
It
not a
doesn't.
not a painful thing to have to do in my afternoon. This was an enjoyable thing I
No,
get to do.
us either. Us either. And
Same.
just imagine, like, this is gonna be a life. Like, this is gonna be like a quote unquote work, apparently.
Mhm.
Like, and I don't know how it all comes together. I'm not supposed to know how it all comes together. But I just love watching that it's starting to happen. Like this,
Yes, it's unfolding.
and there will be even more of us that
Oh,
are, that are coming, that are all just aligned, that are just like, yeah, man, these
yeah.
are badass people, like are awesome,
Yes.
and people are gonna love this. They really are. They're gonna. It's amazing, amazing.
Absolutely.
So thank you for being with us today. And we will continue to be in touch with you because I'm not sure how
Yeah.
this shakes out yet, but
I don't
there's gonna
know,
be
but I'm
something
coming
here.
back is all we know.
Yeah. And maybe it's even like we
I'll
bring
drag
you
her back
like,
in.
yeah, I
Sean
don't
and
know,
I will
like
take a
maybe
road trip up to Canada. We'll just
yeah, you're not
be
too
like,
far
hi,
from
we're
them.
joining
No, we're not.
from Amanda's home.
Yeah, we're not too far
She's
from
here
you.
with us now.
It's
Howdy.
of any place that you could live in Canada, you happen to live like close to the border of where we are. That's not coincidence either.
Yeah, you're not too
This is
far.
bizarre.
Just a few
No,
hours.
we're not.
No.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Like you could be all the way over on the other side of the
Right in the
country,
West
but you're
Coast.
not.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
So
you
close
could be
to.
West Coast, but you're not. You're over here in the East Coast,
Yep.
which I think is the superior coast,
Well, let's
anyways.
just
But
be real.
I
Let's say
mean,
it
we're
like it
just
is,
biased.
Hey.
I mean, and maybe we'll find some West Coasters that we'll allow them in.
Yeah,
We'll
of
give them a
course
free
we will.
pass.
We're not monsters, okay?
We're not monsters, but they're just gonna have to recognize that, like East Coast.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Way
Yeah,
better.
it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to everybody who's listened in with us. And stay tuned for this ride because I think I actually might have found my Wonder Twin. So we were just joking about, they were telling me it's going to take me like 3 years, 8 months. She
A
might
donkey
be
on roller
like
skates.
a little
What?
Girl Scout cookie person. Yeah, they were telling me, they're like, your Wonder Twin could be 6 and selling Girl Scout cookies. I'm like, I don't have that kind of time. Like,
I don't have that kind of
Spirit
time.
knows I don't
I
have
need a
that kind of time.
41-year-old woman stat. I'm here.
Perfect. Exactly. And see,
We told
I
her we
think
would manifest for her.
She did.
And here
They did.
you.
Here
And
I
here
come.
you
know?
come.
I can't help it.
I think so.
I'm just here
I mean,
to help.
I feel that vibe. As long as you feel that vibe too, I think
course
we're
I
each
do.
other's persons. Okay. All right. Settled. So
Awesome.
we'll figure this all out. We might have to be 3.5 Bs, 4 Bs. I don't know what the fuck we are. Oh, it'll be something.
We're gonna come
3
up with
Bs
something.
and an Amanda and a spiritual
All the fucking
gangster.
bitches. That's just it. We're just
All
changing
the
it to
gangster.
all
We
the
might go
fucking bitches. There's
gangster
not a
with you.
number
Who the
attached to
hell
this
knows?
anymore.
Who knows?
Twin bitches. I don't know.
We might be a whole new gang. Okay, we might be a whole new
Gang,
spiritual
gang.
gangster
Gang,
gang.
gang.
Okay, gang. I'm just saying it might happen.
Well,
All right.
thank you so much for having me. It is always such a pleasure to be in your
Yes.
company. And yeah, we need to make this happen again because this is just too enjoyable.
We will.
Yes, it is. And
Fuck
we will
yes.
make all of your information available through this episode. So everybody that is vibing with Amanda, because she is a whole vibe, like we'll make her podcast available and everywhere you can find all of the books that she's mentioned as well. So
So,
go
yeah,
get her
everything's
stuff,
on
man.
Amazon. Everything's on Amazon, 100%,
I love it.
and streaming
We
on
will
all
provide-
platforms. Take your
Love
pick.
it. We will.
Yeah.
We will make them be able to find you easy. And
Fantastic.
so awesome. So until next time, see ya.
See ya.